If you watched Netflix's hit miniseries The Watcher Season 1, you probably have questions about if there'll be a Season 2 and what it might include. That first season ended on a confusing, open-ended note that left fans wanting more. Well, Netflix did renew The Watcher for a second season soon after it premiered. Let's break down everything we know so far about plans for Season 2 and when we might see it. Naomi Watts gives uncertain update. First off, star Naomi Watts recently gave an uncertain update on the status of the second season that's left some fans concerned. She said in an interview, quote, "I know they said yes to the next season, but I haven't heard anything more. I don't know if we'll be coming back or not." This vagueness has led some people to speculate that even though Netflix quickly greenlit more episodes, The Watcher Season 2 may be stuck in development limbo. However, we're not too worried about that yet. Showrunner Ryan Murphy has enjoyed huge success with Netflix so far, so if he wants to make a second season, we don't see the network standing in his way. And some vagueness from the cast before scripts are written or filming have started isn't all that unusual with Murphy's projects. For example, back in 2020, Sarah Paulson said she didn't think she'd be appearing again in American Horror Story after sitting out an entire season, but then she wound up being a lead in 2021's double feature season. So we're not putting too much stock in Naomi's comments yet. If we go months and months without any updates though, then we'll start to be concerned. Season 2 still on track, but for now at least The Watcher Season 2 seems to still be on track, even if details remain closely guarded for the time being. So what could Season 2 be about? This is where things get really interesting. When The Watcher was first announced, it was billed as a limited series, but we all know that term has become almost meaningless in television today. Shows like Big Little Lies that were first framed as closed-ended, one-and-done stories have gone on to popular second seasons, and Ryan Murphy is definitely known for bringing back his shows in new forms. Both his anthology shows like American Horror Story and American Crime Story, and even some of his miniseries like The Politician, have continued on for additional batches of episodes. So there's definitely precedent for The Watcher returning with an inventive new storyline rather than directly picking up where Season 1 ended. And the fact that Murphy almost immediately chose to renew the show may signal that he has plans to take the franchise beyond the original real-life Watcher House mystery covered in first season. Richard Kind speculation. Cast member Richard Kind has said that he's open to returning but doesn't have any specifics on what a second season might look like yet, though he speculated that it could go in a more satirical or comedic direction moving forward. While that's simply his guess, I do think a radical shift in tone is very possible for Season 2. For those who don't remember, Richard Kind played real estate attorney Kevin Harris in The Watcher Season 1. He represented the Brannock family when they purchased the ominous house in Boulevard. In a recent interview, Kind mentioned that he would definitely come back for Season 2, but doesn't have any inside information yet. However, he did predict that Ryan Murphy could take the show in a more humorous direction next time around, and you know that's an interesting idea to ponder. The first season had some mildly satirical elements, but was mostly played straight as a creepy suburban thriller. Going more biting in its comedy around the peculiar characters attracted to the Watcher House could be a cool switch up. We already saw Murphy flex his humorous muscles on his other 2022 Netflix show The Monster, which balanced grim drama with almost slapstick comedy surprisingly well. So we could envision a second season of The Watcher, heightening some of the absurdity inherent in the premise for chuckles. Where can the story go next? With the first season covering the entirety of the Watcher House mystery that went viral in true crime circles back in 2018, there's not really much narrative left surrounding the original story. The Broadus family, who endured the stalking and harassment at 657 Boulevard, have resolutely said they have no plans to ever return to or sell the house again. And the identity of their peeping Tom Watcher remains a mystery to this day. So, with not much left to mine from the real-life events that initially inspired the show, we think a second season would necessarily need to take the story and themes of The Watcher in a totally new direction, rather than regurgitating the same beats again. Of course, Ryan Murphy could choose to mostly or entirely fictionalize a continuation of the Brannock family's story specifically, but given the first season fully covered the facts of the case, that might feel repetitive. There would be challenges around inventing a whole new original mystery and stalker that feels tied to what came before when the real Watcher's identity is still unknown. Season 1 also ends on a somewhat conclusionary note, with the Brannocks seemingly breaking from the home's curse and the new tenants looking poised to become the Watcher's next targets. So narratively, it could make more sense to shift gears completely into a new setting with new characters. But Murphy's known for booking expectations, so we wouldn't rule out his ability to find a way to directly pick up the Brannick's thread in a way that feels surprising. Ultimately, we think he has lots of options on the table. It just depends which creative path compels him the most. Anthology possibilities. An anthological approach would allow Ryan Murphy to create a new suburban setting and family to torment in Season 2, essentially turning The Watcher into a brand or series title that could be tacked onto a whole new stalker mystery every season. Now keeping some of the same cast involved in new roles. Murphy already pulled this formula off successfully over multiple seasons of American Horror Story. So applying that flexible anthological format to The Watcher could squeeze more juice out of the creative concept. Expanding The Watcher into more of an anthology also lines up with the recent confirmation that his other 2022 Netflix show Monster will be continuing as an anthology series exploring new famous serial killer cases every season, without any narrative throughline connecting the chapters from year to year. So featuring new settings and characters in an almost Twilight Zone style storytelling format would be the best bet for what The Watcher Season 2 will look like. But of course, Murphy always has the ability to shock and surprise us too. Who could return? As for who specifically might return for The Watcher 2, that's hard to say if indeed new characters and fresh location are involved. The show's breakout star, Mia Farrow, has expressed enthusiastic interest about coming back, so we can easily imagine Ryan Murphy writing a juicy new part specifically for her in a second season. More marginal Season 1 players like Joe Mantello and Margot Martindale could also make great returning ensemble members in new mysterious roles. And Murphy definitely likes to reuse many of his go-to cast members frequently within different shows. Of course though, the biggest question is if female lead Naomi Watts would reprise her role as Nora Brannick or take on an entirely new part. We think it would all depend on how intriguing she found the concept Murphy and his writers developed for the second year. The star power she provides would no doubt be a boom to further seasons, but would likely come down to if she connects with whatever new direction and character Murphy crafts for her next turn as Watcher's leading lady. When could Season 2 premiere? In terms of when we might actually get to see the Watcher back on our screens, that too remains pretty mysterious. We'd guess filming wouldn't start until 2023 at the very earliest, with movies, other commitments and just general development hurdles. Getting all the pieces back in motion will take some time. If we had to wager, we'd predict we'll get the Watcher Season 2 either very late next year or early 2024. But for now, let me hear your theories for the Watcher Season 2. Make sure to like the video and share all of your hopes, predictions and speculations in the comments. Thanks for watching, stick with me for more news as it develops.